What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of BackStory. This is episode number 2, and today we're interviewing Griffin Larson. Mind you, I interviewed him the same day as episode 1 with Alec Brown. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll link that above. Go check it out. Super cool. He's a cool dude. So, without further ado, let's hop into today's video.
All right, so I am here with Griffin Larson, and he's a photographer that I found on Instagram. He's got incredible photos. Love his work. Griffin, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Griffin Larson. I'm based out of Milwaukee, currently based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I would probably identify myself as like an adventure, like lifestyle kind of photographer. That's kind of at least my goal for what I want to do in the future.
So your Instagram, you guys can find him at griffin.larson on Instagram. Give him a follow. He's an incredible photographer. We're going to start. How did you get into photography?
So initially, I just had an interest in playing around with a camera. I started on probably what a lot of people start on now, an iPhone, just going around taking pictures of stuff that I thought was interesting. And then as I started getting more and more interested, I did a lot of research into what cameras I should start pursuing. And I landed on Nikon. That's the brand that I've been using for probably the past 2 years. And honestly, I use the Nikon D7100. And it's a little bit of an older camera, but it's done everything I've needed it to do. And it's a crop sensor. I want to move into full frame eventually, but as of right now, I mean, the crop sensor has been fine. It's just a little bit of a learning curve with lens, focal ranges and how they change. But yeah, I mean, I can't really complain. I started, so last year I actually was starting to pursue like more of a photojournalistic kind of path, but then I kind of diverted from that when I realized I much prefer to do the adventure type, landscape, that whole genre.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's done a lot on Instagram, but I don't know, I feel like I could add my own little spin on it. So
Yeah. I mean, hey, no matter how good you are, there's always room for improvement.
Oh yeah. That's how I always have thought of it, and constantly evolving and changing, I think, is something a photographer should always strive for. So yeah, that's all I can really say is, like, if you think you're stuck on one style, just completely change it.
Awesome. All right, so I think let's get moving on to your first photo. So it looks like your first photo is that you in the background?
So that's actually my friend Sam. He has an account on Instagram too. His is Sam Subi. It's based around his Subaru Crosstrek.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, no, that was the car we took around on our trip. We drove a total of, I think it was worked out to be 6,800 miles was our total driving distance. So, yeah, we really went around the United States on our trip. But the first photo is of him and I believe it's a Seek Discomfort hoodie. I don't know if you know Yes Theory or any of their videos, but if you haven't, they're worth checking out for sure. But that's one of their hoodies. And the photo is in, it's called Ho National Rainforest. And it's if you've never been, it's in Washington. It's part of Olympic National Park. And I didn't really know about it, actually. He was the one to get me to go. And I do not regret going at all.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's a rainforest in Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's classified as a rainforest. Wasn't nearly as hot as what you think a rainforest is. It's on the west coast, like northern west coast, but
yeah,
I mean, it was kind of, I remember it was kind of rainy, I feel like, earlier that day, and cloudy, and then the sun came out for probably, I want to say 30 or 40 minutes. And then it went back to somewhat dreary kind of. It wasn't raining, but it was cold and cloudy for most of our time in Washington. We didn't get to see any of the big attractions like Mount Rainier. They were all covered in fog. Which I guess I just got to go back.
Hey, I mean, hey, any excuse to go traveling again. I mean,
oh, yeah, exactly.
Traveling's awesome. And so, yeah, this doesn't look like your regular rainforest, like your classic rainforest. It looks it looks like it's up north. And, yeah, none of the trees look like the classic rainforest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moss forest. That's kind of what it's known for, is the just sheer amount of moss that's coming off the trees, and you can see it in the photo as well. There's just this massive glob of moss that's pouring off of this tree, and I just thought it was an alien photo. And then using the path that we were on to lead your eyes into the frame to Sam, and it's a trend on Instagram with like the little people big background thing.
Yeah,
and yeah, I'll admit, like, it's satisfying to take the photo, but it does work because it gives you a sense of scale. Otherwise,
for sure.
You know, if I took the same frame and I sent you another photo of the same location, no one in the photo, it has the same trees in it, and it's still, to me, it's still an interesting photo of what the environment looks like there, but it doesn't really show the size and context of the place.
All right, let's move on to your second photo. I like this one. How close did you get?
Oh man, so this was not a telephoto lens. This was not like, it was not the type of thing where I was sitting back, 100 feet with a 400 to 600 mil, like, taking shots.
Yeah, like all those nature photographers hiding in the full ghillie suit. And
oh god, no. This was a chance that I took at Glacier National Park. That's northern Montana. We were probably, I'm trying to think of where we were. So there's a bunch of lakes up there, and I believe Glacier's part of the Rockies. Or I think so. I'm pretty sure. Anyway.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they all blur together once you get out there. It's just like, oh, there's another mountain range. But, so this deer, we saw it from a distance. It was jumping over a log. I snapped a few photos of it at a distance at that point. Yeah, so the lens, I had to get so close to that dang deer. I was close enough to where if I wanted to take a few more steps, I very well could have just pet the deer on its head.
Dang.
So I was super close. I was probably shooting at 18 mil, which on my crop is probably like 20 something, 28 mil or something like that. So I was shooting super wide, super close, and I did zoom in to get like the tighter shots of the deer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get super close to it, but it was just chilling, sitting there, and I was able to walk up to it. Probably because no one normally does that, so I didn't know what to do. It's just
it's probably like, what's your problem?
Yeah, exactly. Probably thought I was some weirdo who was like, trying to come up and give it a little pat or something. But yeah, I got the photos, and I was super stoked on them when I got back to the car. I was like, oh, these photos I was looking through. I mean, maybe I'll send a few more to you, but it was just the most bizarre thing. And we had seen a deer earlier hiking to the lake, and there was a bunch of people on the path stopped looking at it. This deer was coming back, and we were rushing because we had to get back to the car, drive about, I want to say like 3 hours back to a location where we were camping.
Oh, wow.
At a different lake that was south. So we were speed hiking this 2.5 miles, and it was horrible. It was, oh man.
Deer bouncing around and...
Oh, 2.5 miles. Doesn't seem that far if you're walking on a flat plane, like if you're just, walking on the streets of a city or something. 2.5 miles is nothing, but when you're changing elevation, it feels like 2 years. So it was just wild how the timing and the sunset was great, but the deer, we saw it going and then we saw it leaving, and I made the snap decision, just be like, I'm just gonna
Get
go
some photos.
for it and see what happens. And it turned out to be one of my favorite photos, I think, of the trip, because of how close I was able to get. And I just feel like a lot of those shots you see on Instagram, people are using these 200 to 400 or 400 to 600 millimeter lenses. And that's nice, but if you can, safely get close to wildlife, I think it's awesome, because then you have the story and the experience of being able to say, I was feet from this animal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was able to have probably a solid 2 minutes with it that close and just looking at it, because I was just staying stick still. But as soon as I moved to leave, it just
took off.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Griffin Larson. Follow him on Instagram, griffin.larson. I'll put a link to his Instagram down in the profile and the description. And give me a follow, like this video if you liked it, subscribe. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Griffin. Thanks for letting me interview you.
Of course.